What do you do when there's a chance of embarrassing yourself? Do you actually seize the opportunity to have fun? Or do you hold back and try to avoid that situation? Would you say that fear of embarrassment holds you back in life and prevents you from truly enjoying your life? If you think that you'd have far more fun if you actually weren't afraid of doing something embarrassing, then you're watching the right video, because I'm going to show you how to get rid of this fear of embarrassment. I'm going to show you what to do to prevent these embarrassing moments from even happening. And the best thing is that the answer is not avoiding those situations and living in fear. When you try to avoid situations where you could get embarrassed, situations like dancing in front of other people, asking out someone that you actually find attractive, or simply voicing your own opinion, when you try to avoid these situations and you do it often, you develop and reinforce your fear of embarrassment. And you teach your brain that avoidance is the right thing to do in these kind of situations. Now, as long as you're able to actually avoid those situations, you're just fine. You're in your comfort zone. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where you taught your brain is the right place to be, away from danger of embarrassment. But when you can't avoid these situations, you get anxious. And this unpleasant feeling that you experience in your body, makes you want to avoid these situations even more. This can eventually lead to social anxiety and can make it even stronger over time. This is definitely not the place you want to be in. So, what can you do to actually minimize this fear of embarrassment? Well, one thing is to know how to minimize your chances of getting embarrassed. Once you know how to do it, your fear becomes less and less intense. You're no longer worried that much because you know it's highly unlikely that you'd get embarrassed. I'm sure you already have an experience that proves that you're less anxious when you're well prepared, right? So the first thing that you can do to minimize your chances of doing something embarrassing is to prepare yourself for that situation beforehand. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you've got to make an important business call and you don't work alone. You work in an office with several other people and you don't want them to see how clumsy you can be, right? You don't want them to think less of you. So what can you do in this situation? Well, instead of feeling the anxiety and waiting for everyone to leave the room, prepare for that phone call beforehand. Answer these questions. What do I need to accomplish? What needs to be done? Who needs to do what? Why does it need to be done? How should it be done? Where should it be done? When does it need to be finished? What is needed for this task to be completed? Now, these are just some questions that can help you get a big picture overview of things that you need to do. This will actually help you better understand what is expected, and you will be able to better prepare for that task. Consequently, your fear of doing or saying something wrong will become far less intense. A sense of certainty that you will acquire with preparation will help you become more comfortable. Now, obviously, it's not always possible to prepare for things beforehand. Just for example, let's say that there's an office party and you just have to be there. Everyone is dancing and having fun. And then some co-workers become too demanding and they start asking you to loosen up and dance with them. Obviously, you can't really prepare yourself for that, right? You're not gonna take dancing lessons just to not make a fool out of yourself at an office party, right? So, what can you do in this case? Well, lower your expectations. If your expectations provide you with no room to make mistakes, then you're simply setting yourself up for failure. We all make mistakes, Just look at the best tennis players or the best golfers. They're at the top, in their sports, and yet they all make mistakes. They allow themselves to make mistakes. If they didn't allow room for mistakes, they would quit, before their careers could even start. They would get upset after making a mistake and they wouldn't be able to learn from that mistake. They would spend their time feeling angry and upset instead of actually trying to become better. So accept the fact that mistakes will be made. No matter what you want to accomplish in life, you will make mistakes on your way there, you know. If you want to get a job promotion, you will have to do things that will require you to get out of your comfort zone. You will have to do things where you will make mistakes and fail. And that's perfectly normal. That's how we get new experience. That's how we grow and become better. And if you want to have more fun in life, you also need to lower your expectation. It's just impossible to have lots of fun when your expectations are too high and you expect too much of yourself. You can't have fun if you're afraid to sing karaoke just because you're afraid that you will make a fool out of yourself. Maybe you will and maybe you won't. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you need to allow yourself to make a fool out of yourself every now and then. You will have much more fun and you will gain so much more respect, you know. People respect other people who are not afraid to be themselves. So, when you think that you're making a fool out of yourself, you're most likely actually climbing the social ladder and gaining respect with most people. Sure, some people might laugh at you or think that you're a fool, but that's just the way it is, you know. You can never please everyone. No matter how hard you try to please other people and stay within the rules and norms, you will never please everyone. So if you want to lower your chances of getting embarrassed, you basically have two options. First one is to actually prepare yourself beforehand and minimize the chances of making mistakes. Now, when that's not possible, you need to lower your expectations. Don't strive for perfection, you know. Allow yourself to make mistakes and even make a fool out of yourself if that actually means that you will have more fun in return. Now, I hope that you found these tips helpful and that you will use them to improve your situation. If you'd also like to know how to minimize the damage done to your self-esteem once you've already done something embarrassing, then make sure to watch the other two videos that I made for you. Now, that's it for this one.